then the paparazzi, then TMZ announcing Demi Moore rushed to the hospital on drugs. And all of that happened, just like I knew it would. But something else happened that I didn't expect. I decided to sit still after a life of running and face myself. I'd done a lot in 50 years, but I don't know that I'd really experienced a lot, because I spent most of that time not quite there, afraid to be in myself, convinced I didn't deserve the good, and frantically trying to fix the bad. How did I get here? This is my story. Part 1. Survival. Chapter 1. It may sound strange, but I remember the time I spent in the hospital in Merced, California, when I was 5 years old, as almost magical. Sitting up in bed in my soft pink fleecy nightgown, waiting for my daily round of visitors, doctors, nurses, my parents, I felt completely comfortable. I'd already been there for 2 weeks and was determined to be the best patient they'd ever seen. There in the clean, bright room, everything felt like it was under control. There were dependable routines at the hospital enforced by real grown-ups. In those days, there was a sense of awe around the doctors and nurses. Everyone revered them, and to be in their midst felt like a privilege. Everything made sense. I liked that there was a way I could behave that would yield predictable responses. I'd been diagnosed with kidney nephrosis, a life-threatening condition about which very little was known. It had really been studied only in boys to the extent that it was studied at all. Basically, it's a retentive disease in which your filtering system isn't doing its job. I remember being terrified when my genitals swelled up and I showed my mom and saw her reaction. Pure panic. She got me in the car and rushed me to the hospital, where I ended up staying for 3 months. My aunt taught 4th grade, and she'd had her entire class make get-well cards on construction paper with crayons and markers, which my parents delivered that afternoon. I was excited by the attention from older kids I didn't know, but when I looked up from the brightly colored cards, I saw my parents' faces. For the first time, I could feel their fear that I might not make it. I reached over and touched my mother's hand and said, "Everything will be okay, Mommy." She was just a kid, too. She was only 23 years old. My mother, Virginia King, was a teenager who weighed 100 pounds when she got pregnant with me just out of high school in Roswell, New Mexico. Really, she was a little girl. She labored in pain for 9 hours, only to be knocked unconscious at the last minute, right before I came into this world. Not the ideal first attachment experience for either of us. There was a part of her that did not really ground in reality, which meant that she was able to think outside the box. She came from poverty, but she didn't have a poverty mindset. She didn't think poor. She wanted us to have the best. She would never have allowed a generic brand of anything in our house. Not cereal, not peanut butter, not laundry detergent. She was generous, expansive, welcoming. There was always room for one more person at the table. And she was confident in an easygoing kind of way, not a stickler for rules. Growing up, I was aware that Ginny was different. She didn't seem like other moms. I can picture her in the car driving us to school, smoking a cigarette with one hand and putting her makeup on perfectly with the other, without even looking in the mirror. She had a great figure. She was athletic and had worked as a lifeguard at Bottomless Lake State Park near Roswell. She was also strikingly attractive, with bright blue eyes, pale skin, and dark hair. She was meticulous about her appearance, no matter what the circumstances. On our yearly trip to my grandmother's, she would make my dad stop 3/4 of the way there so she could put in her curlers and have her hair just right by the time we got into town. My mom went to beauty school, though she never turned it into a career. She wasn't a fashion queen, but she knew how to put a look together with natural flair. And she was always reaching for whatever was glamorous. She got my name from a beauty product. She and my father made a magnetic pair, and they knew how to have fun. Other couples flocked to them.